Go.
Hello everyone, my name is Elon.
I'm Alex.
I'm Anna.
And today the big question is, what's more important, money or people? What do you guys think?
Okay, so personally, I think that society values money, that we as like the community value people more. So, what about you, Alex? Or should I say like a lot if y'all want to give an answer?
Be good.
Well, I personally believe that it's like we say we value people's lives, but then when money comes into place, it's like, I don't know. It's like, should I pick this or should I get money out of it? Like, where do I go from this point? How's this come into play?
If you want to put people over money,
Yeah.
there's Goodwill,
Yeah.
Salvation Army, a bunch of charities and stuff.
Of
Like
course.
Feed My Starving Children.
Charities.
Yeah, like basically Feed My Starving Children is, if you don't know already, is an organization. I think it's like North American
Yeah.
or something. I don't know if they do it in other countries,
Yeah.
but they're basically an organization where you spend like X amount of time or like an hour or something or 30 minutes. And you do it with like a group, like maybe with your church, maybe your school or something, or the National Honor Society here in America. If you're a high school student and you're in that organization and you just pack up food, then you send that food to, like third world countries, like in like South America and Africa, even some parts of Asia. And I think that kind of proves that we're more of like, oh hey, pro people and anti-money almost. But then again, like considering that society as a whole kind of, might lean towards more money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
It's the unfortunate truth that society values money over people. Even with things like Goodwill and Salvation Army, me and my dad were talking after we had just dropped some stuff off to Salvation Army, how a lot of that stuff is just going to get thrown away because there are people that just donate junk because they take the one man's trash as another man's treasure a little bit for granted, because it's like, oh, I'm just going to give you this junky items. Well, no one's going to use this. It's kind of a thing, it bugs me, but it also just kind of makes me sad. Also because, everyone has to have the latest and greatest. Like, oh, I don't like my 60-inch TV because there's a new 62-inch TV out. And it's like, it's 2 more inches and you've just gotten that TV. It's like, why do we have to have the latest and greatest? And I find that really sad.
Like the new iPhone. Oh, hey, I have a 7. Oh, hey, the iPhone X just came out. I'm going to upgrade to that, even though I just upgraded like 6 months ago.
But it's just that, like, as society as a whole, is that we take for granted of what we have, and there's people out there who wish they have more, and they're going through more of a tough time than we are. It's because people that you see, they don't understand the value of money. They just like take advantage of what they have. They're like, okay, like just like what I said, like this person has a 62-inch TV, like has a 60-inch TV, but this 62-inch is better. It's just only 2 inches. What's the point? If you have something, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's functioning pretty well, then don't fix it. And matter of fact, why don't you lead by example? If you don't want this and but it's been around for so long, why don't you pass it down to someone who would need it the most, or give it away to people who are struggling at this current point in time?
I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, oh, hey, I have a 7 right now. I might like upgrade it, and I could give this 7 to like one of my cousins if they need it, or even like a poor person. I don't know.
And I don't know. It's just kind of
Sad.
It's kind of sad because, I look at this. I look at society, and boiling it down, even before latest and greatest and Goodwill and all that stuff. Basic amenities in life: food, water, clothing, shelter.
Not everyone has them.
Not everyone has them because of the fact that we turn these essentials for life, essentials for living, into something to make a profit out of, which is really sad. Like, there are people dying of thirst, dying of hunger, dying of overexposure
Because we care more.
because
about
we
money.
care more about money.
Or people who are already ill in hospitals, but in order to get better, it's like this price you have to pay, literally a price.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there's that song Dominoes, don't put a price on a life.
Yeah.
That song, everyone's like, oh, it's just another pop song. No, it's one of those songs that has a hidden meaning of it. Forget about the price tag. We shouldn't put a price on life. We shouldn't put a price on the things we need to live. Now, I understand, maybe putting a price on TV on things that you don't need to live, but it's an extra. But to me, it's almost like, it's like playing a video game, and you've started off and you have nothing, and you have to pay in order to move on, and you have nothing, and it's like you can't even start without paying.
I mean, and you actually bring up a good point. Like Minecraft, I would still play that a lot, even as like a young adult.
Yeah.
You start out with nothing, then you basically build up until you have an overwhelming amount of X blocks, or an overwhelming of okay.
And there are some things that you have to sacrifice, and things where you want to get an Elytra, you're gonna have to travel across the end and defeat the dragon probably and deal with that. Or if you want diamonds, you're gonna have to take the risk and go through some lava.
or even caves.
But those are the expensive stuff. You don't need those to survive in Minecraft. Which is something that it's rather interesting. There's older cultures like the Vikings. There wasn't really starvation in Viking culture. I mean, yes, there was mass starvation where everyone was suffering, but there wasn't one person is suffering because they don't have enough. The Vikings were a village.
Community.
They were a village
Community.
barter, is what I like to call their community. So everyone got a job. It's a really weird mix of bartering, communism, and community.
Yeah.
Because everyone got a job. So Bob is in charge of the sheep, Stan is in charge of the crops, Jane is in charge of making clothes. And Jane provides Stan and Bob with clothes, Bob provides Stan and Jane with wool, and Bob provides Stan
Food.
Stan provides Bob and Jane with food. It's no one is without, and everyone is at an equal level, except for the chief. But even then, the only thing that leveled the chief up was the chief had a bigger house. That was pretty much the only differentiating factor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also that's because the chief was also in charge of guarding the town's money.
Yeah.
So the blacksmith had a shop. The blacksmith shop was closer to town because I had worked on the blacksmith stuff. Things like that. I would love to live in a society like that. It sounds fascinating. It sounds amazing.
Move to Scandinavia.
But see, that's an older culture. It's
So,
not
in
like
today's
that no matter where you
society,
go.
we're too focused about greed and specifically our country as a whole. People or in government or in a capitalist business are too focused on greed and someone's actual living health. But then in other countries, they take a little bit more value into people's lives than selling it for greed.
So how can we change that? My high school capstone is called Little Ripple Big Impact, and I'm essentially breaking down 3 to 5 things per problem, and I'm going to get a little practice with that. Because here are 3 things that I think would really help to change how society views money and people. So one is to be happy with what you have. I know that there are some things that you have to get because the other things are going out of style. If you have a gaming system that no longer produces games and you want to still play games, then I would understand upgrading it. So I would see that. But if you just got the newest iPhone and then the iPhone S of whatever number it is comes out, you shouldn't have to upgrade it. You should be happy with what you have. Second is to be kind to others. If you see someone struggling, help them out. If you just pass the kindness around, just kindness breeds kindness and violence breeds violence. And lastly is a little kind of reduce, reuse, recycle, goodwill before garage sale. So, they have those garage sales and those garage sale apps nowadays where you sell things. See if anything can go to Goodwill. Before you sell your clothes, see if it can go to Goodwill. Now, I'd understand something like a disco ball, like that's not going to be used.
Disco die, get it over.
No, disco balls are still cool.
Well,
but like,
I
you know,
mean-
Goodwill doesn't have a use for that. You can garage sale. But things like clothes, things like dishes.
Or even a phone, you can just pass that down.
Yeah, that can be used in Goodwill. So with that, I think the answer is that society values money over people. But there are a lot of people that value people over money.
Yeah.
The question is, can the people overcome the society? I'm Alex,
I'm Anna.
I'm Elon.
and we'll see you guys next time.